The pirates. Kimari was in bed. Alira, Mina, and Jen now had the guest bedroom as theirs and were grounded. Biran had made sure all four of them had bathed, so that the blood boiled onto Kimari and the sheer grimy feeling he had around his daughters was washed away. A light snack had seamed them to bed, and now Biran was alone, the only one of his family in the world of the conscious. He was lost in decision, trapped in thought. He was not an idiot. He saw the patterns. He knew how such a thing could be faked, but it was far, far too much effort for anything they could possibly gain from tricking him. That fact alone nearly convinced him by itself. The sheer amount of trust and competence they had shown were other points hammering things home. Too many beings look upon the apex races and see only monsters that can be reasoned with, not reasoning beings with the body of monsters, similar to how he had seen pirates. Were they even pirates anymore? He had dug through the archives of the planet and found that their former vessel, the Claw, a fairly generic ship name also known as the EFL Tiger, so named after an Earth animal and a reference to a combat carrier from a series of games labeled as Space Combat Simulator, was now merely one of a fleet berthed for the purpose of defense. That it had only been used for defense was telling. That they had actively called in outside assistance and worked to combat all forms of slavery was telling as well. Former prisoners who had lived with explosives around their necks for years, decades, some even for centuries, were now hired and gainfully employed to use the skills they had previously had forced upon them, and even at great expense to these pirates, they were helping this world. The pattern of their behavior had shifted abruptly from brutal thugs enforcing the will of any petty tyrant for a few measly credits into saviors and champions, into heroes and rescuers. The humans, Biran mutters to himself. For what else could it be? It was the point of contact that the behavioral patterns utterly changed. Literally, the first thing they did after getting humans assigned to them was to turn on their former master and expose the entirety of her corrupt dealings while also rescuing her heavily abused synthetic daughter. Then after that, they spread almost like an infectious disease. Ashen ducks and several pirate crews simultaneously gained a human complement, and like flicking a light switch, their behavior immediately shifted to far more stable and moral actions. Most of them kept their illegal edge to things, but the sheer harm they caused had been curbed so thoroughly, it was like they were being led around on leashes, or perhaps being led around by lust. The complement of the Dauntless was almost entirely male, the approval or disapproval of the voice whispering to you as you lay upon the pillow has power, a soft power unlike weapons or claws. With something like that, with someone planning a gentler, longer-term approach to power and wealth and whispering it into the ears of the higher-ups, well, that would explain it all, wouldn't it? And what's clearly been happening? The humans have clearly been fucking the pirates, and no doubt they're pushing them to better ends. It's almost insidious. If it weren't both natural and well-intentioned, it would be frightening. "Dad?" Kimari asks, and Biran almost jumps. He had been so lost in thought he hadn't heard Kimari get up. He turns to look and finds Kimari holding his youngest, Estella, a tiny blood-soneer. She's latched onto Kimari's chest and nuzzling into his neck. "Bad dreams?" Biran asks gently as Kimari slinks up to sit beside him. "Hard to sleep when she nibbles," Kimari says, and Biran chuckles a little, and he gently pries off his smallest. She flails in her sleep for a moment, her little dreams shifting to flight, but she settles right down when her wing claws get a good grip of her father's chest fur, and she cuddles right into him like a tiny hot water bottle. "Better?" Biran asks, and Kimari nods before stretching a bit and cracking his back a little. "Are you all right, little buddy? That's the problem." "What's the problem?" "I am all right. I don't think I should be, but it felt normal to be taken. The blood was gross, but that's it. I've seen movies. Some poor man suddenly covered in blood is supposed to mean something horrible has happened, but I'm fine. That's not right. I shouldn't be fine, Kimari says, and Biran puts his arm around his son's shoulders. He'd pull Kimari in for a hug, but with Estella on his chest, a good hard hug is a little out of the picture. Biran is cut off when Estella nips at him. Her bloodletting teeth are coming in, so she's been sinking her fangs into everything she can. That's not something to be ashamed of, Kimari. We've had a hard life. We've gone through more than a huge chunk of the galaxy will in their entire lives. I didn't even know how long we were in that hell until it was over. That's the downside to the wonders of a healing coma. You struggle to keep track of time. You didn't get a chance to grow out of your early teens and were kept in a gilded cage. I'm 38 and I never got past 13, Kimari mutters. We have eternity, my son. Grow at your own rate. Heal and discover yourself. You have time. Biran tells him and Kimari slumps. I'm older than any of those dread husbands, but they're not someone that would ever be kidnapped. Kimari pulls up his legs and leans against Biran. I'm a Canador. We're apex. We're super predators who've cracked the secrets of the universe. I should be better than this. Biran just pulls in Kimari, who starts sniffling. I'm sorry, Kimari. I failed you. I wasn't strong enough to keep you safe or break our chains. I should have found a way to get you out years ago. But I was afraid. I was so afraid that they would hurt you, kill you. I didn't see the little pains because I was looking too closely for the larger ones. But I'm a Canador too. I should have been strong enough, Kimari says. I don't blame you, Kimari. You shouldn't either. I want to be stronger. I don't want this to happen again, Kimari says, and Biran looks towards the communicator that Franklin had given to him. It won't, I promise, Biran says as his resolve hardens. I expected you to sit on the question a little longer, the human says as Biran walks up to the building. Marcus, isn't it? Biran asks him as the human fiddles with a stiff-brimmed hat. It is, Marcus says before holding up the hat. But when this is on my head, I am drill sergeant and nothing else. I've been sent to test your fitness and overall ability to understand and obey battle commands. Even if you're in intelligence, you will need a basic understanding of ground troops, if for no other reason than to understand exactly what the hell a field report is saying. I understand, Biran says, and Marcus nods. Good. We've set up an obstacle course to your impressive height standards, and we're going to be running it 3 times. Franklin will be actively fucking with the environment in order to shift how things work. And when you're good and tired, we're going to have a written test followed by some time on the gun range after you've been as mentally exhausted as you have been physically exhausted. A strange requirement. The most valuable thing in a soldier is will. The will to press on and push even when exhausted and drained to your limits. The stubborn refusal to stop can win far more fights than most expect. So we're going to see what kind of will you have. Will is it? The Undaunted is a military organization. Militaries are large teams, to put it simply. Most of this is learning how to work together and then getting some more specialized skills in. We're doing that a little backwards, but it's going to work still. Now, get into your training uniform. We've got some exercises to get through. Biran moves through the motions and puts on the new uniform. His children were well cared for today, and it's just the first day of a new job. Nothing for them to worry about. It's not him joining an immensely controversial military that also allies itself with anyone who would have them. Not at all. 5 minutes later. Move your tail, fuzzball. Move it. Move it. Move it. Marcus screams out as he races well and truly ahead of Biran, jumping from foothold to foothold. The large rubber tires are footholds designed to screw with his pacing. Come on, shake your tail and move yourself. You have to put in the effort to succeed here. You can't rely on what your mama gave you. The tire jumping goes to a two-tiered area covered in barbed wire that Biran has to crawl through. Marcus goes through the smaller one, keeping pace with absolutely everything and showing Byron the exercise before he gets to it. Come on! You bathed in the blood of your enemies. What's a little dirt when you've got Lydris gore all up and down your front? Marcus demands as he crawls ahead. We're going straight up now. Call up your inner cat and climb Fatty. The insane monkey man proceeds to go straight up a sheer wall with his fingers finding purchase in the tiny gaps between the boards. There's a rope beside the crazy human, but he's outright ignoring it in his fervor. He then waits at the top, standing at ease and leaning over to watch Biran climb his way up. All right, follow me down, fat boy, we've got more to do, Marcus shouts, jumping down onto the next level down, and then jumping from that onto the next lower level. After that is a series of monkey bars that Marcus easily swings himself over and leads Biran behind him, yelling abuse at him every step of the way. A large, thick rope is used to crawl across, followed by a long uphill dash, and then a steep decline to go back to the beginning with a wobbling bridge used to test his balance. Good job, chunky boy. Next we're running with full packs. Grab a bag and strap it on. We're running again, Marcus declares, and there are two massively heavy packs of equal size. Both of them strap on the packs and they go running again. The weight is enough that Biran has to take a few moments to catch his balance, and things continue. He's nearly out of breath and he can feel his body burning as they reach the end of the second lap. All right, we've had our fun. Franklin, turn on the water, Marcus shouts as they reach the opening of the next lap. The sky abruptly turns into a monsoon and Biran finds himself swimming through a fair chunk of the next lap. He's cooled off but can barely breathe in the sheer wetness as his muscles scream at him. Well, would you look at that? Our kitty cat may be soaked, but he's still standing. Fan-fucking-tastic. Let's get you into some showers and then we'll test to see if you still have any marbles still rattling around in that skull of yours. Marcus barks out before taking off the hat and looking up at the sky. All right, knock it off. That part's done. The rain abruptly stops and a red-clad Franklin drops out of the sky. The moment he hits the ground, the water is swept away and the air is suddenly clear. Now you're just showing off. Yes, so? Franklin asked with a grin. Never mind. Come on, big guy. Showers, then, the written exam, Marcus says, and Biran sighs with a nod. The warmer water is heavenly on his fur and skin, and the wind chamber to blow dry it after has him puff up like some prize pet. He doesn't even care as he dresses again and is shown his way to the written test. It's exhausting and tests him through his basic mathematics and literary skills before going into basic ship repair and numerous hypotheticals that paint some fairly nightmarish scenarios. He's almost certain he's failed when he outright states he would disobey orders to attack the defenseless or parties who had surrendered. A moral test coupled with a basic aptitude test. It seems so simple. But why? What's going on? His pondering doesn't stop when he's led to a weapons range. He's given a basic lecture on how to always treat each and every item here as if it were about to go off at any moment, and how pointing it at anything other than the sky, floor, or his target is an automatic failure. He's given numerous laser and plasma pistols to test out, all Canador scaled. He's then offered the tiny Tret scale variants that he can barely use for risk of either damaging the device or simply not being able to get his claws over the trigger. The guard doesn't give him enough room. He goes through them all until he's given a large weapon that's heavier than all the others. He's shown all its systems. It's mechanical in nature and uses chemical propellants. It's a kinetic weapon, a human kinetic weapon made to Canador scale. Where did they get this? Why did they get this? Did they know he was going to sign up? They tell him the shot should be a surprise, and if it wasn't a surprise, it would have outright terrified him. The weapon slams backwards with a great deal of force and shatters the target. He's guided into using the sights to hit further and further targets. By the third, He's well past any effective range of handheld plasma or laser weaponry. They have him take all the time he needs to get the shots right. Speed comes with experience, they say. The weapon is so finely tuned that when the distance stretches out to a kilometer, they finally call it a kilometer, 5 times the effective range of the vast majority of laser and plasma weaponry. To reach half that range, a sniper usually needs a specialized weapon and years upon years of training to reach it. He was just handed a weapon in a basic assessment that made a joke of it. "Rifle up, soldier. Your assessment is complete," Marcus says and takes the weapon from him. "And how have I done?" Biran asks, even though he knows that the written test no doubt failed him. "You passed with flying colors," Marcus tells him, and Biran stares. The questions weren't looking for brainless obedience. We want soldiers who can think. We want soldiers who know when to obey and when to disobey. You have a good grasp of it. We just need to polish up your skills and get you used to working in a team to be a top-class soldier. Welcome to the Undaunted.